Following the recent crucial UN biodiversity meetings in Geneva, Elizabeth Maruma Mrema, Executive Secretary of the Convention on Biological Diversity, told Xinhua that she's optimistic a global deal to better protect global biological diversity will be ratified at a high-profile meeting later this year in Kunming, capital of southwest China's Yunnan province.
These being preparatory meetings for the COP, the work is not finished or was not expected to be finished until COP. We are leaving here with recommendations going to COP. They are not clean recommendations, a lot of brackets, which means there is more work before Kunming and in Kunming to remove the brackets.
The second phase of the 15th meeting of the Conference of the Parties to the CBD, also known as COP15, will be held in Kunming later this year to secure the completion of the post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework. This follows the first phase of COP15 held in Kunming last October, which adopted the Kunming Declaration, committing to ensuring the development, adoption and implementation of an effective global framework to reverse the current loss of biodiversity.
We need to be optimistic because one, there is a global agreement that globally people, countries, all stakeholders want to see a transformative, ambitious, universal, action-oriented post-2020 global biodiversity framework. So that general agreement is there. And this has been demonstrated by the many summits we have had in the past 2 years.
The recent Geneva meetings, even though postponed by COVID-19, have set the stage for the COP15 Biodiversity Summit in Kunming, which according to Mrema is expected between the end of August to the beginning of September. The new global framework, expected to be adopted in Kunming, aims to ensure that biodiversity is put on the path to recovery by 2030 at the latest, towards the full realization of the 2050 vision of living in harmony with nature.
So when you look at all these, clearly the world is waiting for a global biodiversity framework. How ambitious, how transformative it will be, we'll have to see now as these negotiations continue in the lead up to Kunming.
In February, the UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change warned that 9% of all the world's species will likely be at high risk of extinction, even if warming is kept at the ambitious Paris target of 1.5 degrees Celsius. During last year's COP15 meetings in Kunming, China announced it will take the lead by investing 1.5 billion yuan, or about $233 million, to establish the Kunming Biodiversity Fund, which will be used to support developing countries in biodiversity protection.
China is the president of COP. It will not have offered to host the COP if its contribution was not meaningful. You will recall at the last first part of the COP, China's contribution to the implementation of the framework when it is adopted to the tune of $230 million or 1.5 million, the local currency, yuan. So that is clearly China's commitment, not just to the process, but to ensure effective implementation of the framework when it is adopted. And of course, now we are seeing China playing that leadership role as the president of the COP in the preparations for the COP.